Well, beyond the fact that it was a lock that Duke's Zion Williamson was going to go to New Orleans with the first overall pick, the rest of the NBA draft seemed fairly unpredictable. The Minnesota Timberwolves proved that point by moving up in the draft to the number 6 pick, sending Dario Saric and the number 11 pick to Phoenix. And they took the Big 12 Player of the Year from Texas Tech, Jarrett Culver. The Suns making the pick since trades aren't official until July 6, now considered a 6'7" shooting guard. Culver averaged 11.5 points as a freshman and more than 18 last year when he ran with former Coyote Matt Mooney on Texas Tech's Final Four team. And the feeling of being drafted into the NBA, he was pretty short and sweet about it.
It's a dream. Just to get drafted and be in the NBA, it's a dream for me.
As I said, short and sweet. You can't really say anything technically about the Timberwolves trade yet. Anyway, now the second round is just underway, and Minnesota's 43rd overall pick has yet to come up. Culver's teammate Matt Mooney, along with former Jackrabbits Mike Daum and Skylar Flatten, are all hoping to hear their names called during the second round. If not, all three could certainly end up on an NBA Summer League roster with options overseas or in the G League also available. Some other picks of note this evening in the NBA draft. Again, no shocker, Zion number 1 to New Orleans, Ja Morant going to Memphis, New York Knicks trading up for Williamson's Duke teammate R.J. Barrett, Atlanta also trading up to get DeAndre Hunter, and Darius Garland getting Cleveland. Those are your top 5 in the NBA draft. Also, late word tonight from the Summit League, a new member is coming aboard, and no, it's not Augustana, not yet. The University of Missouri at Kansas City, playing here against the Jackrabbits a couple of years ago, will return to the Summit League in 2020-21. The Kangaroos had been in the Summit League from 1994 through 2013 before leaving for the Western Athletic Conference. They'll become the league's 10th full member when they join up. Well, one of the most appealing things about watching a baseball game at Sioux Falls Stadium is how close fans are to the action. It's also one of the most dangerous, something the city of Sioux Falls hopes to change in the near future. Canaries manager Mike Meyer is always in the line of fire when he's on the field. He refuses to put his family in it.
Yeah, it is scary. You know, when my wife and kids are in town, they have to sit behind the netting. I won't let them sit anywhere where there's not netting in front of them, whether we're here or we're in Fargo or St. Paul or one of the other cities.
The danger was driven home last month when a foul ball struck a young girl during a major league game at Houston's Minute Maid Park, sparking a debate about whether protective netting should be extended.
You know, I think HBO Sports did a special on reaction time, and you know, it doesn't matter if you're a former athlete, you're not getting your hands up to block it if a line drive gets hit into the stands.
The Minnesota Twins extended netting above the dugout and down the line at Target Field prior to 2018, though it does not go to the foul poles. That could become a trend, with the Chicago White Sox and Washington Nationals announcing this week that they will extend netting to each pole.
Ooh.
No protections behind the dugout or down the line exist at Sioux Falls Stadium, which hosts everything from Canaries to college and high school baseball, sparking concerns since seats are closer to home plate than at most major league ballparks.
We want baseball games to be an enjoyable and safe experience for all the spectators at the birdcage. Later this fall, later this summer, we'll be installing more netting at the ballpark. That was scheduled in last year's budget for this year. Some weather delays, some foundational. You know, it's an older park, so getting the footings for that was a little more challenging than we first expected. So that'll be extended from farther down the dugouts and on both sides of the field.
Nelson says the additional netting won't surpass a 6-figure cost and will go forward regardless of whether or not the city and community decide to build a new stadium. Until the new netting is in place, and even after, it still falls on fans to mind their surroundings.
It's a safe area in general, but fans do have to be on the lookout as is announced at the games and as there's signage. If you have little kids, you know, you may want to make sure that you're sitting in an appropriate area of the stadium.
Accidents do happen. I've been to places where they have netting that goes a long way down the sides, and there's still, you know, fly balls that go in the stands or balls that just get over the backstop, you know, can hit people. So, you know, that's one of the things when you come to the game. It's to watch the game and pay attention as best you can, and make sure you're able to protect yourself.
Speaking of the birdcage, Canaries wrapping up their 7-game homestand tonight against St. Paul. Starter Mark Seiler was on in the first inning, struck out all 3 he faced, also known as striking out the side, and we are scoreless after an inning. Canaries would find some offense in the early going. A guy who's had a lot of pop at the home park, Ale Lago. His 2-run shot gives the Birds a 2-0 lead, but the story of this series for the Saints has been big offensive innings and big bombs, none bigger in this game Then a grand slam from Chesney Young, no doubter, to the parking lot as the Saints would go up 7-2. Now the Canaries load the bases in the bottom of the fourth, but Ryan Zimmerman sits them down to end the frame. Canaries making a little comeback in this one. They trail 13-8 in the seventh. Twins, by the way, lose to Kansas City 4-1 out in KC. Opening round of the Women's PGA Championship, not kind to our local ties. Rough opening round for locals. Kim Kaufman with a 7/79 and Amy Olson a 5/77. Second round is tomorrow down in Chaska. The Minnesota Vikings also announcing today that they're kicking off training camp on July 26th. Total of 16 practices will be open to the public, with most going from 2 to 4:25. It's the second year they'll be at the TCO Performance Center in Eagan. Camp's slated to wrap up on August 16th. And we'll be right back in one moment.